Hello and welcome back once again, dear students, to your channel. In this video, we shall be discussing Act 1, Scene 3 of your Shakespeare's Macbeth. Yes, this video is for my present Class 11 students. But before I begin, you know what's coming up next? If you find this video helpful, do not forget to give me a like and also to subscribe to my channel. It shall keep me motivated. Okay, alright, so without any further ado, let's begin with Act 1, Scene 3 of Shakespeare's Macbeth. And just to remind you once again that I have been using this particular edition, Oxford School Shakespeare Macbeth, edited by Roma Gill. So, Act 1, Scene 3 takes place again on the heath, and there is thunder. At this point enter the three witches. First witch says, "Where hast thou been, sister? Where have you been, sister?" Now, these witches have this weird habit of calling each other sisters. Okay? "Where hast thou been, sister? Killing swine. Swine is your pig." So, third witch, "Sister, where thou? Where have you been?" And first witch says where she was. So, a sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and munched and munched and munched. "Give me," quoth I. So, the first witch asks, "Where were you?" The second witch says, "I have been killing swine," that is, pigs. So, now you will notice one thing, that the witches always associate themselves with things that are uncannily very, very dirty. Pigs. What do they feed on? On the marshes, on the boglands. Okay. And also, they travel through fog and filthy air. So, anything and everything which is dirty, negative, are always associated with the witches. Here also, the first witch says that, the second witch rather says, has been busy killing swine. Swine is nothing but pigs. And it was one of their most favorite sports, to kill swines. So the third witch asks the first witch, "Where have you been?" And the first witch says, "A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap and munched and munched and munched. Give me," quoth I. So a sailor's wife was having chestnuts. Chestnuts are kind of nuts, okay? She was having nuts and she was going on munching, relishing and enjoying those nuts. And when I asked for it, "Give me," quoth I, when I asked for it, "Aren't thee witch?" the rumphant Runyon cries. She started abusing me when I asked for some nuts. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger, but in a sieve. I will thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, I'll do, I'll do. So see, just because the sailor's wife had refused to give them chestnuts, and the sailor's wife has cried that, "Aunt the witch, get out from here, witch, get lost from here, witch." What did this second witch say? First witch say that she is going to trouble the sailor because his wife had insulted him. How is she going to trouble the sailor? In a sea, the sailor has gone to Aleppo. Aleppo is an island in Syria, northern part of Syria to be precise, and the sailor had been the captain of the ship called the Tiger. All right. So, in a sieve I will thither sail. I'm going to conjure up, strange winds. I'm going to sieve up strange winds and like a rat without a tail. So, a figure of speech is a simile. Like a rat without a tail, I'll do, I'll do, I'll do. I will trouble the captain, the sailor. Second witch says, "I'll give thee a wind. I'm going to give you favorable wind so that you can conjure up the sieve, the mesh, so that the sail of the ship gets entrapped in it and the ship is unable to sail." First witch says, "Oh, how kind of you, thou art kind." Third witch says, "And I another, and I'm going to give you another wind also. It is going to be lot of help for you." First witch says, "I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, and the quarters that they know, and the shipman's cart. I am going to also help you." How? Because I control the winds from all the ports they blow, from all the corners of the port, and I will be the shipman's card. What is the shipman's card? It is the compass. Okay? I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. Penthouse lid refers to the eyelids. So I'm going to trouble the sailor in such a manner that he will not have water to drink also. He will become as dry as hay. So figure of speech again is a simile. Also, sleep shall neither night or day. He will not get proper sleep. He will not be able to have a sound sleep, despite the fact that he will be extremely sleepy. He shall live a man forbid very sad nights 9 times 9, and he shall live like a dead man alive. Weary, that is troubled and tired, send nights 9 times 9. For 9 times 9. That is for 81 weeks I'm going to trouble. Though shall he dwindle, pick and pine. Pick and pine is your alliteration, and he's going to dwindle. That is, he's going to waste away. He's going to lose a lot of weight without proper water, proper food, and proper sleep. And he's forced to, travel because his ship will not be able to come to the shore because the winds will not be favorable. So he will dwindle, pick and pine, though his bark cannot be lost, though he will not die, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Yet it will be, the sailor will be, troubled to a great deal. So what does this essentially brings out? This brings out the fact that the witches do not have the power to kill someone. At the most, they can trouble others and they can be the cause for others' death, but they themselves do not possess the power to kill. This is a very important point that you have to keep in mind, because later you will realize that the witches did not have the power to to kill Macbeth. They were only instrumental. They performed the role of a catalyst towards his downfall, and which led to his ultimate death. But in no way did the witches have the power to kill someone. All right, look what I have. Second witch says, "Show me, show me." First witch, "Here I have a pilot's thumb." So the witch has chopped off the thumb of a pilot. Why? "Wrecked as homeward he did come." I have chopped it off when he was coming home. And then there is the sound of drums. A drum, Macbeth doth come." And the three witches are extremely alert to hear the drum sounds. They realize that it is the arrival of Macbeth. And they start singing. The weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus to go about, thrice to dine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. So they're the posturers of the sea and land. They are the movers of the sea and land. And they go about thrice to dine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. So they make rounds of 3. All right. Peace, the charm is wound up. Keep quiet now, Macbeth is coming. And at this point of time enters Macbeth along with Banquo. Who's Banquo? Banquo is another soldier who's fought for King Duncan in the war. All right. Macbeth. "So foul and fair a day I have not seen." Just look at this. Banquo's first words echo the words of the witches in Act 1, Scene 1. Remember, the scene has end where? Act 1, Scene 1, when the witches said, "Fair is foul and foul is fair." Here also Macbeth says the same thing. So foul and fair a day I have not seen. So even though the witches have not met Macbeth, we realize some sort of a connection has already been established. And it is because of this, the witches are well aware of the fact that there is some sort of connection that has been established between the witches and Macbeth, that they decide to tamper his soul. All right. So Macbeth says, "So fair and so foul and fair a day I have not seen." Why is the day foul? Because the weather has been extremely gloomy. And why has it been a fair? Because they have won the battle. Okay? And Banco calls out, "How far is it called to Forest? How far is this place called Forest? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it." And suddenly, while Banquo is asking Macbeth how far is it to Forest, they see the witches appear in front of them. And the moment the witches appear in front of them, they are so weird looking that Banquo is shaken up. Banquo says, "What are these? So withered, so wild looking creature? They look not like the inhabitants of the earth. They do not look like people who live on the earth. Yet they are on it. Live you, or are you what that men may question? Are you something alive? Or is it that something which men have to constantly question? Are you supernatural beings? You seem to understand me. By each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so. What are you? You seem to understand the language that I am speaking, Banco is saying. That is why when I asked you who are you, all of you had put your fingers on your lips, on your skinny lips. And by the structure of your body, it is understandable that you all are women. But then you'll have beard also. So I am unable to understand what are you. So the witches are absolutely paradoxical entities, you see. They are full of paradoxes. They have beard, yet they look like women. Their clothes are wild. They do not look like the inhabitants of the earth, yet they are on the earth. So both Banquo and Macbeth are absolutely flabbergasted. They're shocked to see such weird looking creatures appear out of nowhere in front of them. Also, if you remember, the scene is taking place on a heath. And if you remember, heath is a barren land. An idea which the barren land is always associated with negativity. Okay, so it is a precursor to the fact. It is a symbol that something wrong is going to happen. And at the same time, we've seen that there has been thundering going on. So all markers of that something is definitely wrong in nature. So Macbeth says, "Speak if you can. What are you?" Macbeth charges the witches, "Speak. What are you?" First witch says, "All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glams." This is not Glamis. The pronunciation is Glams. Thane of Glams. "All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor." All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter. Very, very important. And I would advise you to kindly learn these three predictions up word by word. Okay? So the three witches make predictions. They make prophecy to to Macbeth and Banquo. They prophesize Macbeth and Banquo's future. The first witch says, "You are the Thane of Glams." The second witch says, "You are going to be the Thane of Cawdor." And the third witch says, "You shall be king hereafter." Notice something. All the predictions that the witches have made, they are all one-liners. Nothing has been told why, how, when. So, from the very beginning, the witches start giving out half information, half truth. This is going to be their instrument in making these people, both Macbeth and Banquo, go astray. Though Banco will not go astray because he will come across as the wiser individual, but here we will see Macbeth going astray completely. Banco. Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? Why are you getting so worked up? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? In the name of truth, tell me, are you fantastical? Are you something? Are you the product of our imagination, or you something really are? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope that he seems wrapped withal. So Banquo addresses the witches saying, you've addressed my partner, Macbeth, by saying that he is already the theme of glams. Present grace is the theme of glams and great prediction of noble having. That is, he's going to become the theme of Cawdor and of royal hope. And you've also promised that he's going to become the future king. To me, you speak not, however, you haven't spoken a word to me. So Banquo is getting worked up that if you're giving out so many predictions for Macbeth, what about me? If you can look into the seeds of time and see which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate. So Banquo speaks metaphorically. He uses the metaphor of a seed growing into a plant. And he says, if you can look into the future and tell me what is there in my future, I shall be extremely obliged. But also, he's stating the fact if you do not wish to tell, do not, because I'm neither scared of you nor am I this thing, nor do I hate you. So it's all to you. First wit says hail, second wit says hell, third wit says hell. Hell is a kind of, greeting. And the first witch gives out the predictions for Banco. This is again something which I would like you to memorize completely. Lesser than Macbeth and greater, not so happy yet much happier. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hell Macbeth and Banco. So the predictions for Banco goes as lesser than Macbeth and greater. You will be lesser than Macbeth. In what way they do not mention, but yet you are going to be greater. Actually, Banco is going to be lesser in rank. Okay, but he will become greater. We will see how when the play progresses. Not so happy, yet much happier. You're not going to be as happy as Macbeth, yet much more happier than what Macbeth is. We will, as the play progresses, we will see Macbeth will be troubled by numerous issues. He will have nervous breakdown at times also. Okay. So not so happy, yet much happier. He will never have mental peace, which Banquo is going to have. Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. This is one of the most important prophecies that has been made to Banquo. Says, you will never be the king, Banquo, but your children are going to become the king. What, when, how, nothing is again told. So we see the witches giving out half truth, half information. All right. So seeing this, such Macbeth and Banquo, all hell. Macbeth says, stay you imperfect speakers, tell me more. Because the witches have not given out details, Macbeth is suddenly shaken up by all the prophecies, saying, stay you imperfect speakers, stay you incomplete speakers, because you have not given full information. Tell me more. By Finel's death, I know I am Thane of Glams, but how of Cawdor? By my father's death, Finel is Macbeth's father, who was the Thane of Glams. When Finel died, the title was automatically passed to Macbeth. So he says, by Finel's death, I know I am the Thane of Glams. Some books will also tell you, children, that it is Sinel, Sinel. But you have to realize that since we are following this book and the council also prefers this particular edition, we are going to write Finel in our answers. Okay? By Finel's death, I know I am the Thane of Glams. But how of Cawdor? I am the Thane of Glams because my father has passed away and the title has automatically come down to me. But how did I become the Thane of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman and to be king, stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. The Thane of Cawdor is alive because Macbeth does not know what has already happened back there. That King Duncan has already announced Thane of Cawdor to be removed from his position and he be executed and the title will be given to him. All this information has not reached Macbeth. Okay, so he doesn't know that he has already been given the title of Thane of Cawdor. So he's saying how the Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. He's a healthy gentleman, and he's supposed to be, a living one. Then how did I become the Thane of Cawdor? And to be the king stands not within the prospect of belief. And you also tell me that I'm going to become the future king. That is next to impossible because King Duncan has two sons, Malcolm and Donalbain. How do I then become the king? Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you. Say from where have you come across such strange intelligence, such strange information? From where are you bringing in? And why have you stopped us on this deserted heath with such prophetic greeting, with such prophecies? Speak, I charge you, I demand, tell us more. But the witches do not utter a single word more. They vanish all of a sudden. Banco says, the earth hath bubbles as the water has, and these are of them. Whither have they vanished? Saying the earth has bubbles, water has bubbles, and I believe the witches are also made up of bubbles. Otherwise, how did they vanish all of a sudden? Macbeth says, into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Macbeth is equally amazed and stands. He says, what seemed corporal as in physical, having a bodily shape and structure, suddenly vanishes into the air. So Macbeth is equally surprised. Would they had stayed? If we had requested them, would they have stayed? Were such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? Banco starts questioning. He says, did we actually see what happened right in front of our eyes? Or have we eaten some strange fruit, insane root of hemlock? Hemlock is a plant whose roots, if you eat, you are supposed to go mad, intoxicated and mad. So Banco says, did whatever just happened, did it really happen? Or have we eaten the roots of hemlock that we are behaving in such manner? Macbeth, your children shall be kings. So the third prediction of the witches to Banco starts flying to Macbeth's mind, starts troubling Macbeth's mind, and he asks, did the witches not tell you that your children are going to be the king? Because the witches have also predicted that Macbeth is going to be the king. So, if Macbeth is going to be the king, how can his throne pass down to his children? That is something extremely scary and noteworthy for Macbeth because Macbeth knows what it takes to become a king. And now, if it goes away into someone else's hands, it is not going to be very, very easy to accept. So, the first seeds of jealousy are already planted in Macbeth's mind and they have started taking its course. And Macbeth starts questioning, did the witches not tell you your children are going to be the king? Banco, you shall be king. Banco tries to reason out, but then they also said that you're going to be the king as well. And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so? They also predicted that I'm going to be the Thane of Cawdor also. To the self same tune and words. Yes, these were the exact words that the witches said. Who's here? And at this time enters Ross and Angus. Now, Ross and Angus are the noblemen, and they were the thanes also. We have seen them in Act 1, Scene 2. They are coming from King Duncan now. Ross says, "The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal venture in the rebel's sight, his wonders and his praises do content, which should be thine or his. The king has been extremely happy to know of your success, Macbeth, and the way you fought in the battle has overwhelmed him. And he's been moved to such an extent that he's become silent with happiness, and at times he is also having a doubt that whether to remain silent in happiness or to, praise you to the best way possible. Silenced with that, in viewing over the rest of the selfsome day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afraid of what thyself didst make, strange images of death." And he's been very happy to know how you made your way through the Norwegian ranks, through the Norwegian army. Because Norwegian army was supposed to be one of the best armies. Okay, they were extremely powerful, and Macbeth has made his way through them by defeating them. So the king has been extremely happy to know that how he had made strange images of death by killing so many people. As thick as tale came post with post, and every one did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. So one after the other, messengers came. Post with post is messengers after messengers came, and every one was full of praises of how you fought the battle and how you saved King Duncan's kingdom. Angus says, "We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks." We've been sent here by King Duncan. Royal master is Duncan. We've been sent here from King Duncan to give you thanks, to convey his sense of gratitude. Only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. But we've been asked to take you before him and not wish you, or rather give you all the thanks here. And for an earnest of a great honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail most worthy thing, for it is thine. And King Duncan has also suggested that I should let you know that you've been given the title of the Thane of Cawdor. Banquo, what? Can the devil speak truth? And Banco is suddenly surprised to know, "Arey, just now the witches came and predicted this, and that is what is happening. So, can the devil speak truth?" You see here, this question, "Can the devil speak truth?" does not need an answer, because the question is an answer in itself. Yes, the devils can speak truth. That is why the prophecy is getting fulfilled. So, this is a figure of speech known as a rhetorical question. Rhetorical, rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is a question which does not need an answer, because the question is an answer in itself. Okay, so can the devil speak truth is a rhetorical question, figure of speech. Macbeth, "The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?" Macbeth is surprised to know. He says, "The Thane of Cawdor is alive. Why are you giving someone else's title to me?" And he is giving the image, this metaphor, rather, he is using is that of clothes. He says, "Why are you putting someone else's clothes on me?" Because the Thane of Cawdor is a separate individual and he is alive. So why are you giving his title to me? Angus, "Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment, bears that life which he deserves to lose." Yes, the Thane of Cawdor is a separate individual and he is living also. But his life is under heavy judgment now. Why? whether he has combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel with hidden help, and vantage, or that with both he labored in his country's wrack, I know not. So whether he has combined with Swino, the king of Norway, or whether he has given help to that rebel MacDonald, I cannot tell surely. But definitely he has been a part of both these treachery, and that is why the country was supposed to get affected by his treachery, and that is why he is under heavy judgment. But treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him. So he's been accused of treachery, which he has confessed of, and it has been proved also. Therefore, he is going to die very soon. Macbeth, in an aside. Aside and soliloquy are two different things. I hope you know that, children. Aside is something when the speaker is talking to himself in a lower, hush voice so that it is not heard by the others. Alright, except the speaker himself. However, in a soliloquy, he is again talking to himself but in his mind. It is not supposed to be heard by anyone. Alright, so this is the difference between an aside and a soliloquy. Some people call it soliloquy, but I would prefer it soliloquy. So Macbeth says in an aside, Glams and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. So the seeds of jealousy, rivalry, enmity have all started working in him. He has started becoming ambitious. The first step towards his downfall he's already taken because he starts harboring such malicious thoughts in his mind. He says, Thane of Glams, done. Thane of Cawdor also done. And the greatest is behind. That is of me becoming the king. Thanks for your pains. And he gives thanks to Ross and Angus. To Banquo he says, again, do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them? So are you seriously not contemplating, Banquo, about what the witches said? Because they predicted my future, and you see, I have already become the King of Cawdor. Banquo. This is a very important speech of Banquo. He says, that trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. That trusted home, that source which you have been trusting, might yet take you to the crown, might yet take you to becoming the king, apart from giving you the title of Thane of Cawdor. But it is strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles, to betrays in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you. Banquo says, it is strange that often these creatures of darkness, these instruments of darkness, these weird sisters, or any forces of nature for that matter, nature, the negative aspect of nature, the forces of negative aspects of nature, tell us half truth, gives us misinformation, give us incomplete truths. And what do? They win us. They win our confidence because we immediately see that half information or half truth coming to realization. And we start believing in them. And once we start believing in them, we start to step towards our downfall. So Banco here comes across as a very, very wise individual. He is warning Macbeth not to give in to the temptations of the witches. Whatever the witches have said is okay, all right, but not to give so much of importance to whatever they've said. Banco is warning already. So we see here the contrast between Banquo's attitude to that of Macbeth's attitude. While Macbeth gives in to the temptation of the witches because his soul is already tempted, His soul is already tainted, otherwise, he wouldn't have echoed the words of the witches. So fair and foul a day I have not seen. But Banquo's soul has still not been tainted by the witches, and therefore he can rationally think between what is correct and what is incorrect, and therefore he is warning Macbeth. Macbeth says, in an aside again, two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. Two wishes have been fulfilled, two predictions have been fulfilled. Yet, the last one remains. What is the last one? That of becoming the king. I thank you, gentlemen. Then he says, thank you to the gentlemen Ross and Angus for conveying the true information, news. And then he starts contemplating. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. This supernatural happening, this supernatural prediction cannot be bad, cannot be good. If bad, if ill, why hath it given me an earnest of success commencing in a truth? If it really had been bad, why did it become true immediately? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? So Macbeth says, I'm the Thane of Cawdor. And if this soliciting, if this prediction have been really good, then why are such thoughts coming to my mind, which are making my hair stand and my heartbeat go up? In other words, what is he thinking about? Exactly, he's thinking about becoming the king. And how to become the king? By removing the king in position and power now. Other words, murdering Duncan. So you see, the seeds of negativity have already started sprouting in him. He is already starting to think of unnatural ways of becoming the king. Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought whose murder yet but fantastical. So he utters the word murder is but fantastical. Shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise and nothing is but what is not. Says the thoughts are so horrible and such heavy that my manlyhood is getting questioned because I'm unable to remain fixed my ground. My entire being, entire being of being a man is shaken up by such heavy thoughts. Banco says, look how our partners is wrapped. Banco doesn't know what Macbeth is thinking, no? So Banco is saying, see how Macbeth is lost in his own thoughts. Macbeth, if chance hath me king, why chance may crown me without any stir? If it is there in my future that I am supposed to become the king, then why does not my luck make me a king without any effort? Banco, new honors come upon him like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use. Banquo again draws upon the metaphor of clothing, the one which Macbeth had used previously. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes? So Banquo says, new honors come upon him like our strange garments. New honors are coming on him like new clothes. When we put on new clothes, they do not fit us properly. There are creases all over. But with repeated use, we get the clothes fit us perfectly, no? In a similar manner, Banco says, just because he's now been given the Thane of Order, he is unable to come to terms with the sudden fulfillment of the prediction and this honor. Therefore, it will take time for him to settle down. Macbeth, come what may, time and hour runs through the roughest day. Let whatever has to happen, let it happen. I cannot think any more of it. Banco, worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Macbeth, please let me know when you're free. I would like to have a word with you. Macbeth, give me your favor My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Yes, even I would like to talk to you, Macbeth, because my mind is even full of thoughts. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Letters toward the king, and he thanks again to Ross and Angus by saying, I have recorded the gratitude that you displayed here in the book of memory. Okay, let us go towards the king. Think upon what chanced and what more. Interim having weight, let us speak our free hearts each to other. Macbeth says, Banquo, in this meantime, please think whatever happened right in front of our eyes, and also whatever Ross and Angus came and foretold to us. Please think whether whatever is happening is correct or whether we should do something about it. And when you're done with thinking, please let me know because I would like to have a word with you. So his mind is extremely worked up. Banco says very gladly, yes, definitely, I would also like to talk to you. Till then, enough, Macbeth says. Come, friends, let's go to the king. So that brings the end to Act 1, Scene 3, children. This is a very, very famous and important scene as it shows us the path where Macbeth treads first time to when he is going to falter, okay, and it will lead to his downfall. Also, this is the prophesying scene where the witches come and prophesize Macbeth's future. All right, so this is it for today. If you find this video helpful and smart scoring, please do not forget to give me a like and subscribe to my channel. It shall keep me motivated. See you in the next video. Till then, take care of your health. Goodbye and good luck.